Hey guys, TJ Schwarz here. I'm pretty excited because today is a very special day I've been looking forward to. Today is shop tour day. So those of you guys who aren't familiar with me, who I am and what I do, my name's TJ Schwarz. I am a custom knife maker and custom knife designer. I've been doing it for quite a few years and I really dig it. It's a great time. It's been my dream to have a full-fledged machine shop in my garage. It's going to make the whole future of my business just totally different. I mean, up to now, most of what I've done is really revolved around like 3D CAD, 3D printing, and a little bit of like hand grinding and stuff. I've had the grinder for years, but the addition of the CNC machine and just having this complete shop has made a huge difference in just the outlook for my whole business. So I thought it'd be a good time to give you guys a shop tour and show you just exactly what's going on in this little garage. Now, it's not complete, it's unfinished, there's a lot that needs to be done, but I'm gonna talk about that at the end of the video, just kind of like what my vision is for this shop. Hope you guys enjoy. This side of the shop is kind of the dirty area. It's where I keep all the tools that generate dust, debris, or any kind of mess. It's nice to keep that all in one spot. You can sweep up, vacuum, kind of keep it all in order, and it can help you keep the other part of the shop a lot cleaner. That being said, I'm going to just list off the individual things that are over here. So first off, a tumbler. This is a vibratory tumbler. Basically the bowl vibrates and oscillates and shakes the stones in there around, and you can put any kind of steel part or aluminum part or whatever in there, and it'll deburr it and kind of put a nice finish on it. So you've all heard of stone wash finishes on knives. This is how it's done. Obviously in an industrial setting it'd be a lot bigger, but this works for me. So as you can see in there, there's some really fine grit. It's actually ceramic media. The ceramic media is the finishing compound, and then in here I have what's called the cut compound, which is just a coarse, I don't think it's ceramic. Actually, I take that back. This is ceramic. The fine grit's porcelain. So if you're ever looking for media, remember there's a few different kinds, not only grits but actual material. The porcelain lasts forever because porcelain's very hard. It also isn't very coarse, so it just doesn't eat itself away very fast. The ceramic eats away faster, but it also does a better job of cutting. It's nice to pack kind of the 1-2 punch there, go from the coarse to the fine. Next up, I have a TW90 grinder. So Travis Wirtz, you may have heard of him. He's the History Channel guy. I think he won like Forged in Fire and then hosted a different show. But his kind of origin story is he owns a grinder company, Travis Wirtz Machine Works, I believe. And this particular model, the TW90, is kind of his bread and butter. A lot of knife makers have this machine. I've had it for like 5 or 6 years. I love it. It's a great grinder. I honestly can't hardly say enough good things about it. You can put different attachments. So right here, this is the flat platen. So the belt spins and it goes across this flat surface. Just by unlocking this here, I can switch it out. So here's some of the other attachments that are not well organized at the moment, but different platforms for holding a workpiece at different angles when you're trying to grind. I also have a wheel and a small wheel up there. So basically the belt can go around a wheel or a really small wheel to get inside of like notches and stuff. It can do all kinds of stuff. One of the other main advantages too of the TW90, and the reason it's called the TW90, is if you loosen this and then basically kick this little arm. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it one-handed, so I'm going to set the camera right here for a second. As you can see, 90 degrees. Now the belt is vertical. The whole thing switched orientation. So everything you see here, the motor, the actual VFD, the unit that controls it, everything spins together off of this hinge right here. And then you lock it down and you're grinding at a different angle. Pretty fantastic. I actually had this base custom made. I designed it. It's actually the end cut of an I-beam, so I went to a steel scrapyard and got an I-beam and then had laser cut big old plate steel welded on both ends. The plate steel is 3/8 thick, and like I said, I had it laser cut, so it's precision. I'm really happy with how that turned out. Makes for a nice stand. I used to have it on a wooden bench, but one of the things with a grinder is you're always getting stuff wet to cool it down, and so water's always flinging down there, and when it's made out of wood, obviously that's no good. So this is just easier to keep clean, and I think it'll last longer. Then I've got a drill press. Drill press is super basic, whatever. It's just Home Depot, whatever. Honestly, don't use it too much now that I have the mill, but there's a lot of little operations, especially when I'm doing like woodworking or something where I'm obviously not going to do it in the mill. It's just handy to have. You can see I have a power strip kind of zip tied to it. My electrical situation in the shop is definitely leaving something to be desired. That's a future project that I'll talk about here at the end of the video, but the electrical strip, it powers the dust collection unit for the sandblaster. And then, didn't mean to brush past it, but just an air compressor back here. Super basic. You need air to run the mill and the sandblaster, but yeah, nothing special, just a Husky Home Depot brand air compressor. But anyway, yeah, the electrical strip powers the dust collection unit, which right now is plumbed into the side of the sandblaster, so it creates a negative pressure vacuum. That way dust isn't escaping, and I found that to work really well. These came as a set from Scat Blast. I highly recommend Scat Blast. This is the second blaster I've had from them. Just really good luck with them. Good customer service and all that good stuff. And I'll show you a little tour inside there. Essentially, 2 gloves, a gun, a light bulb. You can see the port there where the vacuum is. And it sucks sand up and blows it out of the gun when you're working with it and you sandblast things. So nothing special, kind of a standard machine shop tool. Got an air gauge down there so that I can control that. That was added after the fact. Got a toolbox here. This toolbox, well, on top of it I have my acid station. So I pull the cap off that. I can dip a knife in there and let it acid etch before tumbling it for an acid stone wash. Got a drill and some batteries. Oh, this is a ferric chloride. That's what I use as an acid. Toolbox. Got my screwdrivers and wrenches and all kinds of miscellaneous. I have it positioned right here because the door into the house is right behind me. And this is a lot of the stuff that's like kind of household tools. So if I need to run out into the garage to grab a tool for in the house, this is where I just immediately go to. So yeah, that kind of brings it together in the dirty side of the shop. The one other unit here that I wouldn't say generates any mess, but this is the only place it would fit, is this 50-ton hydraulic press. Now, you may be wondering what the heck a 50-ton hydraulic press is doing in a knife shop. Definitely check out my other YouTube video where I've been using this. I was working on cold forging brass, and it's been working out really good for me. Coming over to the other side, I've got a small manual press for like setting grommets and eyelets for either Kydex or for the combs. As you can see, the comb has a grommet in it, so that's one of the products I make. So anyway, that's I think the newest addition is that press. So as you can see, it kind of just sits right in the middle of the whole room, but at the same time, it's not really in the way. I was kind of thinking about getting it up against a wall, but right here kind of works good. So that brings me over to the more machine shop side of the shop, and so far I've kind of ignored this side. I will continue to do so because this is just storage for like household stuff. This is just one wall that, you know, was a compromise, was that just given the size of our house, this is where we're gonna have to keep some of our stuff. So that being said, here's the mill. This is a Tormach 1100 MX. That is an awesome machine. I love it. It's worked out great for me. It's exciting to learn, and it's the first actual machine, like CNC machine, that I've ran myself. I've designed a lot of products for CNC machines, but this is the first one that I actually, you know, programmed and ran myself. They're actually not too hard to pick up and learn. They're super intimidating, I'm sure, and they were for me, but it's really not too bad. There's so much YouTube content out there. I'd like to put out some YouTube content as well on kind of the things with it that I do, and you know, how I set work up and how I program it and whatnot. But it's got the automatic tool changer. It's got, like, what else? Automatic oiler. It's kind of loaded out. There's a few things it doesn't have as far as like package options, but it does well. It's got a lot of cool things going on with it. So that brings me to the tooling bench. This is where I kind of keep my CNC specific stuff. I've got a little rack for collets and stuff that are empty, tool holders and whatnot, chucks. This is a tightening system for actually tightening down collets, and you know, rubber mallet, Dremel, and the Dremel I do use actually in CNC operations to like when you leave a tab on a part and you need to cut the tab to get the part out. I keep the Dremel right next to the machine so I can do it immediately out of the machine. But yeah, so into the tooling drawer. somewhat organized. I've got like the different diameters and the different collets and stuff. This is just carbide tooling. Nothing special. Got extra soft jaws for when I need soft jaw. Hardened jaws for different things. Got some different fixtures and stuff down below there. Nothing too special. And coming over to here, I've got a nice storage area. Somewhat miscellaneous storage right now. The cabinet is a new addition, literally just put up this week. And I've got storage for grommets and different things back here. Yeah, so right now I've got these tables. They're literally just folding tables with totes underneath them. Got storage under there. Really nothing special. Got one nice window for natural light. So that kind of brings me to conclusion on what I currently have in my shop. Now, one thing I really wanted to do is I wanted to give a little insight into kind of what my dream is for the shop and what I picture in the future. So in this building, in this garage, I don't really have space to add on, so I'm going to just try to be extremely efficient with the space that I have and eventually have to, get into something larger, maybe even like a dedicated shop building. But my dream for this building is, first off, I'd like to get sheetrock up. Obviously, that's going to be a big project since I've already got stuff in here. As you can see, part of it's already sheetrocked. I actually tore a bunch of sheetrock out because it was damaged pretty severely when I moved in. And I need to put a bunch of electrical in, which comes back to this area. As you can see, the electrical, I have an extension cord powering a bunch of stuff, which is not ideal. And so I haven't decided whether I actually want to put the electrical behind the sheetrock or whether I'd rather run conduit, because if I have conduit, I can tap into it and do different things later. I've kind of started to lean that direction. And so let me know what you think. If any of you guys are electricians and you tell me like what your preference is on that, whether there's disadvantages to conduit and whatnot, but that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. Now, the other thing I'm wanting to do is actually have the garage door right here. And I know it's a huge weakness insulation wise, and it's also really frustrating when I come into my shop from the front of my house. I have to roll the whole door up and let flies in, let all the cool air out, all the hot air out, depending what season of the year it is. And so I want to frame that in, and I'm going to have a door right here, and I want to install an air conditioner right up here, because that's the one thing that I don't have out here is air conditioning at this point. I do have a heater, as you can see, that heats this place fast, efficiently, and easily. Like, it's amazing how well that thing works. I did wire it in 220, so it's a pretty stout unit, and the room is insulated, and it was insulated when I moved in. So I'm pretty happy. Now, that all being said, one other thing that I do want to upgrade, obviously right here, these folding tables are not robust, they're not great. Honestly, I just threw them in here to have a work surface, but I'm going to either build a bench right here, or like this right here, this kind of tool chest that I showed you earlier. I might have one of the tool chests right there, and then this be a bench, or vice versa. I haven't decided, but it's going to be some combination of storage and just bench space right in here. I think that's going to be a big improvement. Also, pretty soon I'm going to be hanging blinds on the windows since I don't have AC. That's kind of necessary. But yeah, so a one-car garage machine shop. This is what it looks like. And honestly, I haven't been hurting for space at this point. I've just been focusing and doubling down on efficiency and packaging and making sure things are like taking up no more space than they need to. And it's worked out pretty good so far. Yeah. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. If you guys liked the video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And stay in touch. If you have any questions about the shop, let me know. And pretty soon I'm going to be machining some handle material for these knives that I'm working on. So stay tuned for that. Thanks, guys.